All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with the Shanda Vander Ark case. Now, there's a little piece. There's still the prosecutor. We're still going through the prosecutor's breakdown because there's a lot of segments in between. This time, we're kind of looking into how she treats other living beings other than her son. As you know, she was giving Timothy her challenged son a really hard time up until the point he passed. Crazy situation. I mean, like, when you hear her talk about it and she's just so indifferent about shit, it just really kind of gets you irritated. But anyway, we're going to go over how she treated other things. She had 5 kids total, so 4 other kids, and she had dogs, which when she talks about her dogs, she lights up. So just kind of, you could feel the energy coming out of her. It's just her heart and joy. So we're going to go through this and just draw a comparison on how she treated her son Timothy compared to everything else in her life. Let's go ahead and check this out. If you guys are new here, make sure you subscribe. Let's do it.
Mr. Roberts, you can begin your cross-examination. Oh, actually, we'll recall. Yeah, sorry. How to do that? Ms. Vander Ark?
Look how she walks up. She just is irritating. Like, look at how she walks up from the corner. Check it out. Q Vander Ark.
How to do that?
Walking like, ew, bro.
You're reminded you are still under oath.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Vander Ark. Now, Mr. Johnson kind of tried to shortchange you a little bit earlier in your in his direct examination when he wanted to talk about your background, your schooling.
Yes,
Remind the jury again of your educational background.
I have a Bachelor of Science degree, magna cum laude, and then I also have a Juris Doctorate, it's a law degree, that I graduated magna cum laude, second in my class.
And magna cum laude, for those that might not be familiar, means with the highest honors, correct?
Yes, sir. In law school, actually, Summa only goes to number 1. At the college level, it's above a certain GPA, but for law school, only number 1 gets Summa, and then above a certain GPA gets magna.
And then below that is even cum laude, which is what Mr. Johnson tried to say you were,
Yes,
and I think you corrected him and made sure the jury understood. No, you were second in your class in
Yes,
school, correct?
Yes, sir.
Look at how, you see how she lit up just now? Just so, yeah, I'm a smart girl. I'm really smart. I'm better than everybody. That's all I'm seeing from her. Like, geez, bro, like, hold it in. She can't even hold it inside. Like, we're talking about your dead son. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not get too excited about your magna cum laude. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I was second in my class and, I have a law degree and you're still a piece of shit. Like, imagine her in the court system, actually working within the court system. And they exist. They just haven't been caught. Imagine the corrupt shit that they have going on. It's some shit you don't realize is happening. But if you really look at her and her background and what she was doing, she was working for the court. There's probably so many twisted people in our court systems. But anyways, let's continue.
And you took the bar exam.
I did.
Passed the bar exam.
First try, yes, sir.
With a very high score.
First try, yes, sir. First try. I'm that bitch. Yes. I hate this lady. She sucks. She's too excited to talk about this.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Smiling.
182 out of 200.
The bar exam is an incredibly difficult test to pass, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is. It was like 400 hours of study that went into that.
And the pass rate for it usually hovers somewhere around 60%. So 4 out of 10 people that take it usually fail, right?
I did not know that, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay. But you understood it to be a very difficult test when you took it.
Yes.
And I believe that score would constitute the highest score for that time that you took the bar, right? Your score.
I mean, I don't know. I would assume so.
And you also were magna cum laude in undergrad as well for your
Yes, sir.
bachelor's degree?
Yes, sir.
And where did you obtain your bachelor's degree
Liberty
from?
University.
I get it now. She feels like her life should have been something else. It's coming to me. I was always like, it's fascinating. Why? Why did she do this? Why did she hate him so much? I feel like she was just angry. Her life mounted up to what it was, and she should be this big time lawyer. Maybe I should have been a judge at this point in time. Who knows what's going through her mind? But with scores like that, and the life she's living, you know, behind on bills, husband has a stroke, can't provide. She probably feels like her life should have went in a different direction. Now she's like, now I have to take care of your fucking kid. And I'm starting to see where the hate is coming. I feel like Timothy was just kind of like a byproduct of her anger of how things turned out. And I said it last video. It's probably, you know, she's a smart person. Well, not as smart as she thinks she is. There's a difference between being book smart and like charismatically smart, socially intelligent. She is none of the second, none of the above. I mean, she's none of the second part. She's not charismatic. She doesn't have she doesn't know how to work with people. She's just book smart. Like, look at her face. Like, anyways.
You had an opportunity to actually work in this very courthouse for a period of time. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I did my law school externship, and then after I graduated law school, I stayed on as an intern. It wasn't paid, but the experience was invaluable to me, so it was worth it.
And particularly the field that you were working when you were working here, you worked under Judge Smedley, one of
Yes,
our
I
other
did.
circuit court judges, correct?
Yes, sir.
And your area of focus that you wanted to really focus in on was appellate criminal work. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you had an opportunity to work on some cases here in Muskegon?
I did. Yes, sir.
And eventually that turned into an opportunity to go work for another judge in another county, correct?
Yes, sir.
Up in Newaygo County?
Yes, sir. For another circuit judge.
Right. And you were doing the same type of work there?
Yet even more work than what I was doing here, more specific. I didn't do the sentence scorings here, and I did that there. I helped Judge Smedley write one opinion while I was here, but I actually drafted most of my judge's opinions as law clerk.
It's quite the responsibility that you had there, so congratulations on that.
Thank you, sir.
And remind the jury again, how many children do you actually have?
I have 5 total.
Okay. And again, we're not going to name the youngest, little man, I think.
Little
you call
man,
him.
yes. Nolan is 23 and married. Paul is 21 now. Millie, my only daughter, is 19. She's in college in Oklahoma, as far as I know. I haven't talked to her in a long time.
Oh, that's pretty telling. Oh, so you haven't talked to her in a long time? Just like your sisters who you haven't talked to in like 2 decades? Yeah. A shitty person, shitty human being. She probably talked down to her sisters, probably talked down to her daughter. Just a disgusting person, man. I'm so happy that she is in jail. Like, it just warms my fucking cold heart that she's in jail. I promise you that.
Timothy he would be 17. He was 15, a month shy of 16, and then little man just turned 9 in September.
Bucktooth ass. Bucktooth ass, fuzzy braids wearing ass, pasty, wrinkled lip having ass. Like, she is just nasty, bro. There's nothing flattering about this girl. Again, I don't know what my boy married. I'm talking about her husband, which would be a bunch of their stepdad. I don't know what he saw, because this chick is just ill, bro. It couldn't be the personality. So what was he attracted to? It definitely wasn't the personality. Her shit is, she's the drier than a overbaked piece of chicken, dog. Like, damn.
With the exception of Timothy, no harm has come to your children in terms of them, dying as a result of malnutrition and starvation, has it?
No, not at all.
Dehydration, hypothermia?
No, sir.
None of those inflicted on any of your other children?
No, sir. They're all healthy.
Detective Piesky, at the time he interviewed you, I think attempted to get some photos of Timothy from your phone, and you told him that you had no photos on your phone of him from January on, did you?
I had one from January, but after that, no, I didn't have any.
But you had a functioning phone.
I did, yes, sir.
You used it to monitor the cameras that we've talked about, the motion sensors, all that stuff. You had the ability to use a phone that was your own personal phone.
Yes,
right?
sir, that was my phone.
It wasn't a work phone where there was a restriction to say, well,
No.
you can't take photos, anything
No.
of that nature, was it?
No,
So you certainly had the ability to have photographs of your child on your phone,
I
right?
did, yes, sir.
Let's talk about some of your health issues, because you listed quite a few issues that you're, in terms of your diagnosis.
Like I said in the last video, a Karen, she knows by heart all her health issues because that's what they use as ammo. So trust me, she knows to a T what's wrong with herself. Anyways.
Some health issues that you had. I think you said ADHD, something called sensory processing disorder,
OCD,
OCD. Those
PTSD.
PTSD. I guess I would kind of classify those more as almost. I don't want to use. I'm not using this word in a negative context, because those are almost more mental disorders. Would you
Yes, sir.
agree with
Yes, sir.
that?
No, I agree with that.
Right. You also had some physical disabilities as well.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if Mr. Johnson went into those, so why don't you
He didn't.
tell the jury what your physical disorders are as well?
I have allergy-induced asthma. I am allergic to almost everything environmental other than animals, every different type of pollen and mold and weeds. And then I am a reactive hypoglycemic. I have been my whole life, but it was actually after Timothy was born. It got much.
I am a reactive hypoglycemic. Like, what? Ma'am, listen to me. Shout out to all my people who are hypoglycemic out there. She's really using you guys in a bad light, because people, this is bullshit. See, the thing is, she's, like I said, she's really book smart. So she's thinking that her knowledge about things, is going to help her. Lady, you have no charisma. At least OJ kind of smiled and waved and did the whole OJ thing. You know what I mean? She is just the driest person ever. It's not going to work, ma'am. You're going to get on the stand, right? And you're going to come and give them a science lesson on the shit that's wrong with you. This shit is hilarious. I'm surprised the jury didn't start chuckling. I'm sure they were kind of like, oh my God, this bitch is crazy. What the fuck? Like, come on now. It's time to wrap it up and go home. I mean, go to your cell.
Much worse. And they finally figured out right after I moved here what was going on. But it required, I can eat, my blood sugar will still crash. So I can pass out, I can be doing whatever and just pass out. So.
If I'm not mistaken, you actually, I had the opportunity to meet a very, very nice but very large dog. You had a service animal when you worked here, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Look at that smile. Look at that smile. She loves her dogs. Oh my God. She gives them baths and gives them medicine and shelter, and she loves her dogs.
Whatever, and just pass out. So.
If I'm not mistaken, you actually, I had the opportunity to meet a very, very nice but very large dog. You had a service animal when you worked here, didn't you?
Yes, sir, I did.
Gemini.
Gemini, yes.
And Gemini's function as your service dog was what?
He was scent trained to pick up your blood sugar smell. If you've ever been around a diabetic, when their sugar's high enough, they put off this hubba bubba bubblicious smell. Well, we, as humans, we can't pick up the low blood sugar smell, but a dog can actually pick up your sugar going up about 20 minutes before we can. And they can pick up the low blood sugar. So he was scent trained. He would let me know when my sugar was about to crash. So I always carried orange juice with me, and that would keep my blood sugar up for 2.5 to 3 hours guaranteed. And then he was also trained, if I ignored his alert, and this did happen at work a couple of times, he was trained, he was off leash, he was trained to go and get somebody to bring them to me to make sure I took care of it so I didn't pass out.
It's just remarkable that dogs can do that. It's just
It
an
is.
aside. And was Gemini the first service dog you had?
No, sir. He was my second.
Okay, and so you had one before Gemini,
did.
and then
One after.
then one after, and that was Sharma? Is that
Sharma,
right?
yes, sir. He was another Great Dane.
Another Great Dane, okay.
I like the big dogs.
So you are certainly, you are keenly aware of your health issues and the things that you need to do to address your health issues, right?
At times, I don't take great care of myself. I will
You don't
admit
take
that.
great care of yourself, but you've had 2 service dogs for who knows how long. Fun fact, Great Danes fart a lot. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was just my uncle's Great Dane or his diet, but that motherfucker, we would be sleeping and all you would hear is brrr. I'm like, dog, what is going on? Like, yeah, they're a whole human and a half. They're huge, but she had Great Danes. Great Danes are not the easiest dog to maintain and take care of. I'll tell you that much. It's a lot. One would say almost like a child. She had a child that was low-key not eating, huh? Come on, bro. This shit it's open and shut case. She loved her little Great Danes. Come on now. Those are like one of the harder dogs to take care of. You got me fucked up. And you couldn't take care of your child.
And the fallback to that is you have a dog that will
It
alert
does.
you if your blood sugar gets low.
Yes, yeah.
So you understand that so you have a backup plan.
Yes,
Right?
yeah.
So if I forget to eat or my blood sugar gets too low, then my dog is going to alert me to that. So I've got a backup plan.
Yes,
right?
sir.
But you understand how that works. You understand
Yes, sir.
the medical need to have those things treated.
Yes,
right?
sir.
And the need to have your other issues that we talk about get treatment for those issues as well, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Sensory processing disorder involves basically overstimulation, right?
Yes, sir.
And you suffer from a disorder which causes you to become overstimulated with what, audio and visual stimuli, correct?
That's part of it, yes, sir. It can be stress related as well.
But as a punishment for your child, you decided that hot sauce, audio alarms, cold, we'll get into this later, but cold, at least cold, if not ice baths, and isolation and sensory deprivation were appropriate means of punishment. Is that your testimony? Those
Yes,
were
sir.
appropriate forms of punishment?
For some of it, yes, sir.
You also train service animals, correct?
I do.
And when you train service animals, is crate training involved at all?
Yes, it is usually.
And explain what crate training is to a jury.
It depends on what you're using it for. Usually it's part of house training to begin with. And when the service animal in training is very young, you don't get to take them with you 24/7. So you don't want to leave them unattended a lot of times. Plus, putting a dog in a crate, a lot of times that's comforting to them. They like the more enclosed space. So it keeps them contained, keeps them from being destructive, and it teaches them, like for house training, it'll teach them not to do anything in their house, basically, where you take them outside and where they do their business.
And one of the ways you make them feel comfortable in their crates, and so it's their house, is they have a blanket or something of comfort in the crates, right?
I don't usually, at least not for house training, because then they could actually do their business on that and shove it to the back of the crate. So I don't usually put anything in there.
But that is a method that some people do
use
employ.
it. Some
for crate
people
training,
use it, yes, but I don't.
Right. There's a lot of text messages. We had a lot of testimony from Paul yesterday and a lot of photographs about Timothy's small room. That was basically like a crate, wasn't it?
I don't believe it was.
That's crazy. I mean, he didn't have to go that far. He's like, you're treating your son like a dog. But I mean, maybe he should have gone that far because I mean, bro, you don't even treat the dogs like this. Yeah, they have a crate, but you don't withhold food from them for. Maybe you do. She's treating Timothy like a dog, like straight up. He put that together. I wasn't even thinking about it like that, but yeah.
Closed, but he asked for a space that he could close the door.
He asked to go into that?
He asked for a space. He asked for somewhere he could, some place he can go in and close the door, and it was actually half joking. I was like, "That's all I've got," because the other rooms were taken, and there was no way he was sharing with Paul, and I didn't really want him sharing with little man either.
But you didn't set that up as a room for him, did you?
Not originally, no. He was actually out in the lower area for a while.
But you didn't put a bed in there. You didn't put
We
a
did
mattress
originally,
in
yes.
there.
He tore it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
there was no mattress, nothing of comfort for there in him the day before he died, was there?
Not that day, no. He had torn it up. I couldn't afford to get another one.
You put a blue tarp in there, didn't you?
That was what was on the mattress previously, yes.
And the tarp was because he would wet himself.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Because
so you let him sleep on tarp? Yeah, she treated him like an animal. Crazy dog. I mean, sometimes you wet yourself until you stop wetting yourself. Like you can't tell him to stop wetting himself. Like damn, just give him less water toward the end of the night. Like this lady, oh no, man. You guys put in the comments what you think. I think it's honestly because she was mad at the world. She was supposed to be this big shot attorney, and she's not. And she's taking care of this man's child. I feel like that's what it is.
Tried the mattress covers. I tried plastic. I tried some of the rewashable, and he kept tearing them up.
Mm-hmm.
So his place of comfort was a closet with a blue tarp. Is that what you want the jury to believe?
He spent some time there. I wouldn't say that was a place of comfort. I mean,
Spent some time there. Well, let's get into that. He slept in there most nights, didn't he?
After, I don't know. I don't know when exactly. It was. I mean, I know it was after my husband's stroke. I don't know when after that, but once he'd asked for that, yes, he did.
In fact, he rarely even slept on his bed, did he?
He had taken the bed apart and lost some of the bolts. It wasn't safe for him to sleep up there.
So the bed that we see on the
So he destroys all the mattresses. He destroys the bed. He's just a destructive little shit, isn't he? He has claws and he can just rip shit up. Like, come on now. It's not believable, ma'am. He has tools to take the bolts out when he has movement disorders and all types of shit. But nah, he got the tools and unscrewed the bed, and it wasn't safe for him to sleep up there. You couldn't put it back. No. It wasn't safe. Nope. Sleep in the fucking closet on a tarp. That's what you do. Go to jail forever. Come on now. Simple.
Pictures, it wasn't even safe to be used?
No.
So it was a complete lie when you told the police officers that you had to pull him off the bed to put him on the ground to do CPR, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it was a complete lie when you told 911, I need to put you on hold so I can take him off the bed to perform CPR, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. I don't even remember.
So in all your days, all your confusion, all your blacking out, tunnel vision, all that, you were able to somehow remember. I ought to tell everybody that Timothy was sleeping on a bed. Remember doing that?
Vaguely, yes, sir.
Have you ever given hot sauce to the dogs, to train the dogs?
I have put it on a couple of objects to keep them off of objects, yes.
Keeps them away from it, right?
Yes, it does.
Right, because they don't want to eat the hot sauce.
Mm-hmm.
So you never actually grabbed a dog, forced its mouth open, and poured hot sauce down its throat, have you?
No.
Never put hot sauce on a piece of food and then fed it to them, make them eat it, have you?
No, because I don't give my dogs human food. You can't do that with service animals.
No, but
This-
you could put it on dog food, didn't you?
I guess I've never even thought about that, honestly.
So it never occurred to you to use hot sauce, enforcing the use of hot sauce on a dog, but it occurred to you to use that as a form of punishment for your 14-year-old child?
It was Paul's idea, but yes, I was.
It was Paul's idea. Now, I will say one thing. Paul was probably a dickhead and an asshole to his little brother, but it wasn't Paul's idea. I'm just going to say that much. It was not Paul's idea. Paul's head is too high up in the fucking clouds, wherever the fuck he is, to think, oh, let's put some hot sauce down his throat, Mom. That would be a good idea. And even if he did, you're his mother. And you're like, yeah, Paul, let's put the hot sauce. That'll be a good form of punishment. Man, send these people to the gulag, bro. They need to never to return to society. That's what I say for both of them.
At my wit's end at that time.
It was Paul's idea, and you thought, yep, that sounds like a good idea. I think we'll do that.
Let's do it.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact conversation, but
Yeah.
I said it. Like I said, at that point, I was willing to try anything. I was.
We'll get into the text, but there's dozens of texts in here, and this is just a small section of text where you tell Paul, put more hot sauce on the bread. Give him 4 slices of hot sauce. Do you remember those text messages?
Some of them, not very many, but some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't punish a dog with hot sauce, but it's okay to punish a child with it.
Objection, Your Honor. That's
I'll move on. Would you stick a dog in an ice bath as punishment?
That would never occur to me. But then having big dogs, I don't bathe them at home anyway. I use dry shampoo, or I take them somewhere else. I don't have a
I'm
facility.
talking about as a form of. I'm not talking about giving them a bath. I'm talking about using.
I don't have
as
space.
a form of punishment, putting a dog in an ice bath.
I don't have space to do that, so I wouldn't think of that because I don't have space with that size dog.
You're saying if you had a
You
large.
know, logic. I don't have space, so I wouldn't even think to do that. So she's saying that if she had the space, she may have thought to do that. Man, send her to jail, bro. The social intelligence on her is below average. All she has is book smarts. God. And she's so hideous. I don't even know why I keep going back to it, but she's ugly as fuck. I'm gonna keep saying that.
Enough tub to punish one of the dogs, you put him in an ice bath?
I can't imagine doing that, but
You can't imagine doing that. Right?
correct.
You can't imagine punishing an animal by putting him in an ice bath.
They're tearing her apart.
Animals can't think the same way humans can.
So it's okay to do it on a human because they can think, right? They can think better than dogs can, so it's okay to put them in an ice bath. Is that what your testimony is? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Is it okay to put a human in an ice bath because they can think better than dogs can, but you wouldn't do it to a dog?
I mean, based on the way you asked that, I guess the answer would have to be yes, but it's not
Okay.
the way I think, so.
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but you said you wouldn't do it for a dog, but we know you did it as a punishment for Timothy.
I never did personally.
Paul
But you
did.
told Paul to do it.
Yes. A couple of times.
And it never occurred to you, this is not a good idea. We shouldn't be doing this, right?
No, because it was The amount of ice was almost, I mean, it was non-existent, so.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay as long as it's not a lot of ice in the ice bath? Is that your testimony?
If it doesn't affect the temperature much.
Starts off as cold anyway, doesn't it?
Not originally.
No, it was warm.
I don't know down the road, but originally that's not what I had told him to do. Because the original time, the first time that happened, was before my husband's stroke. It was, Timothy had, we noticed there was no hot water. And we were like, what the heck? And I went down and I'm looking and I noticed the pile.
What the heck? What the heck? Yeah, bitch, we know you curse. Like, I hate this lady so much. Oh my God, she sucks.
Light's not on water, it's a gas water heater. I'm like, what on earth is going
This
on?
ends with Timothy turning off the gas, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
This part of the story, okay.
And he lied about it for 2 days, but
Let me just make sure I understand then. Is it your testimony that you put ice in an otherwise hot bath to cool it down?
yes.
Why don't you just start with warm water to begin with?
I honestly don't know. But that's what happened the first time.
So if you repeatedly refer in these text messages to them as cold and or ice baths, but that's what it was at the end, wasn't it? Cold baths or ice baths,
At
right?
the end, yes, sir, but not the first time.
Not the first time. You apparently needed ice to cool down a hot.
I have no idea what I was thinking. We'd all had to have cold showers for 2 days, and he'd lied to us about the water heater. I'd had to have the gas company out.
You remember taking the law school exam test?
The LSAT? Yes. Oh, I hated that test.
Oh, I did too. Yeah, I agree with you there. There's a section on there that's about logic and reasoning, right?
Yes, sir.
And I kind of explained it to my friends as it's the, so-and-so can't sit next to so-and-so at a party, and this person can't sit on this side of the table, and this, so you have to map out all those things, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm guessing you scored pretty high on the LSAT, didn't you?
I scored pretty well. I mean, I got a scholarship to law school, so.
So for a test that serves your interest for getting into law school, you have no problem using logic and reasoning, do you?
I mean, I managed to score on it. I hated that test. I know I did not miss a single, there's a logic
You know,
games.
she's working, her ego helps her to work against herself because, her personally, she should say, yeah, it was really hard and I barely got onto it. But no, she's like, yeah, no, I got a scholarship because of that test. And I hated that test. I hated it. But no, I don't think I missed anything. I don't think I got anything wrong in the multiple choice section. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to nail you that you do have extraordinary logic. So therefore, you wouldn't be stupid enough to say, I should say, to do all the things you said you were doing. Oh, I put ice in the hot water because it was too hot. What is wrong with, where's your logic? Why would you even say that? You're making me think that your logic, that test, you must have cheated on that test because this shit, you could come up with something better than that. Like,
section. I think I missed one question on that out of 25. And I think the reading comprehension was also something like that. So I think the lowest score was actually on the logical reasoning.
And yet somewhere before the time your husband had a stroke, logic told you that you should use ice in a hot bath. Is that your testimony?
Yes, sir.
cool.
But then after that, you do acknowledge that it was cold and or ice baths.
Yes, sir.
And that you encouraged Paul to pour water on Timothy, didn't you?
Just the one day.
Just the one day?
Yes, sir.
Which day was that?
The day before he passed away.
Now, Mr. Johnson asked you some questions about homeschooling and not ever taking Timothy to a doctor. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
And I think you said that the reason you couldn't do that is because you couldn't get your ex-husband to help you out with signing over custody. Do you remember that?
Correct. Yes, sir.
The truth is, you were, by court order, not allowed to have custody of Timothy, weren't you?
That's correct. But I was offered the option of either taking him or they were going to put him in foster care. And I didn't want my son in foster care. I don't think anybody would.
But there was a court order that said you are
I
not
like how
allowed
she tried to
have
start crying and he just shut her down. Hold on, back up cue the tears.
order, not allowed to have custody of Timothy, weren't you?
That's correct. But I was offered the option of either taking him or they were going to put him in foster care. And I didn't want my son in foster care. I don't think anybody would.
But there was a court order that said you are not allowed to have custody of Timothy. I'm not talking about a custody agreement. I'm talking about a court order that says you can't have custody of Timothy.
My understanding of the order that you're talking about, it wasn't that I couldn't, it's just that I didn't get custody that time.
Yeah, and then her lawyer tries to save a sinking ship. And buddy, I mean, get the buckets, but the water's coming in a lot faster than you can bail the water out. But yeah, anyways, folks, that was it. Going through this Vander Ark case really has me scratching my head. Like, how are you this intelligent? And I understand, like, I've seen a lot of cases, and it's like, okay, you're going to do this terrible act. Okay, do it and do your best to get away. It's almost like she did it, and then I guess she didn't realize she was going to go through with I guess at the end she thought she was going to just give him food and all the punishment would sort of end, but she just took it too far. But I mean, at least have a believable story. She sucks. Her story is nowhere near believable. It's just the most simple, PTSD and disassociation and all those bad things and words, and that's why I can't remember anything. Let me go free. Okay. Anyways, people, I love you guys, man. I'm going to catch you in another video tomorrow, mañana. We're going to continue on with this Vander Ark case. I'm going to drop some more videos as well as soon as I can. And until the next one, stay inside, stay safe. Peace.